How to get your ex back using reverse psychology. So this video is going to show you how to get your ex back using really deep reverse psychology to flip the script and make him come crawling back to you. Hello, it's Erin, your personal love expert, back again on the channel where we make men make sense. If you want to learn how to get your ex back and make him beg for you back, which is my goal for this video, then immediately write "I am ready" right now in the comments while the intro plays. I want to go on, but I have a small favor first to ask you guys. If you like this video, any of my videos, anything about me, what I'm wearing, love advice, getting your ex back, anything, give me a big like, a thumbs up. Give me a like and share and subscribe. Tell everyone you know about it, who knows the pain of what you're going through or who wants to just get some real advice here. So let's get to the point now. First thing is to analyze who broke up with who. This is just a preliminary strategic type of thing to understand how likely it is to get back together and what you're dealing with. Obviously, if you broke up with him, you're way more likely to be able to get him back. But if he broke up with you, we have to do no contact. In fact, no contact is the first thing to do in general. No contact helps transform his feeling from not wanting you anymore to wanting you back with all his heart. It cleanses your energy to the most effeminate, attractive, and desirable energy. It resets you and makes you alluring rather than ickiness. Ickiness happens when a person is emotionally uncleansed. It's like you haven't showered. So no contact basically showers you. It makes you fresh, clean, and more attractive again. No contact is for you to just stop sabotaging your ability to get back together. So it sabotages you when you don't do no contact. Not because it's a magical cure, but for it to work, you've got to detox emotionally. He decided he wasn't gonna be with you anymore, so you cannot try to rush him. So he's emotionally moving in a direction of wanting to be broken up with you. And if you engage in him, you'll cement that feeling into the ground. He will dig his heels in and he will never get back together, so you do the opposite. Instead of fighting like he'd expect, just go along with it, accept it, go with the flow. It's the first piece of using reverse psychology to get him back because he expects you to do something completely different. He expects you to go insane. In a moment, I'll explain the psychology of what he experiences during the no contact rule, and don't worry, you'll fully understand. But I want to first explain to you the most important part. It's that your instincts are misguiding you. They are steering you off a cliff, and I really think that you guys need to pause now because your instincts are tricking you. Also, I have a place, VixenInsider.com, where I can actually give you direct feedback, especially in this ex-back thing. You really should realize that your own instincts and impulses are wrong. So VixenInsider.com, if there is still space available, I can actually give you direct feedback and kind of crisis management, if you will, because this is the epitome of a crisis management situation. The ex being gone is the worst, and it's the really most common place where you'll just make mistake after mistake and it'll just be too late. So I really do invite you to join. And I do think that you have to realize your bad emotional state is tricking your instincts. Don't believe what you feel is right. You have to get yourself right before you contact him, and that's what no contact is for. The big idea is that you're getting stronger while he's getting weaker. And here's how you're gonna get stronger. Stop feeding into the thoughts of the relationship, of him. Stop feeding into the emotional drama and turmoil. That's the big rule, the big secret. You don't feed into thoughts about the relationship, the breakup, what could have been. You try your best. Thoughts come up and you let them pass like meaningless clouds. You stop feeding into them. So the detox starts to work. In this way, you're using reverse psychology on yourself. Instead of feeding into thinking about him, the relationship, you're letting it all go. And then what are you doing? That's what I'll talk about next, what you put your attention to. But first, I have to say to you, and if you have specific questions about how to get him back, then I invite you to join me in my private insider group where you can ask me questions and get direct feedback. If there is still space available, that is VixenInsider.com. The basic point that I'm trying to convey is getting your ex back and no contact is about, number 2, active time. So knowing this is the difference between actually having an effective no contact period and things just being kind of neutral. So no contact alone won't do anything, but no contact with this idea of active time is the crux of how to make yourself more attractive to get your ex back. You're taking active time to improve yourself, to improve your life, to heal, to detox, to kind of cleanse yourself and get rid of all of the things that you have piled on. It's almost like taking a shower and freshly, being cleansed in a way of all the dirt that has been piling on and on. You're cleansing and refreshing and renewing, because then you're restoring yourself to the person you once were. That's the whole psychology behind the active time. You're bettering yourself, you're restoring yourself to the person you once were at the beginning of the relationship, and you're detoxing and putting energy towards being good on your own. How you feel on the inside matters, and if you learn to live happy in your own life, you're gonna be a person he wants to get back together with. And when you're not feeding into obsession, misery, regret, you're actually putting attention toward what really works, which is becoming a you that you recognize, doing things that make you happy. And when your mood goes up and up, that is a love magnet. It attracts love into your life. The big understanding is that relationships aren't there to make you happy. You bring your happiness into relationships and it reflects the happiness back to you. So if you want a happy relationship, use this time of no contact to better your happy life and build a life that you're happy with. Whether it's journaling to clear your thoughts, spending time with friends, just doing things you love. Most people make the mistake of obsessing over their ex and ruminating and being miserable. What you're doing here is the opposite. The reverse psychology aspect is that you're not doing what everyone else does. This is the opposite. You're letting go. You're reconnecting with yourself. The bottom line is doing active time correctly is gonna help you get stronger and stronger and more attractive with every single day that passes. Just be engaged with what feels good. It's simple, small things. These things add up. They create habits, and habits create virtues. It's a really strong way of establishing small things that build up and make you a happier human being. Practicing gratitude is a really effective and simple way to achieve this. And all it means is you look at everything from the lens of, I appreciate life. I appreciate this because it's something that I really value. You don't look at life from the perspective of being angry and upset. You look at things through a lens of gratitude, and it becomes part of who you are over time. Keep in mind, if you're doing no contact right now and you have any specific questions on how it works, what the right time is, or your unique ex situation, anything like that, I do think that VixenInsider.com could be a good place, because it's my private insider group where I give you direct feedback to any problem that you have, especially this type of situation. It's very delicate. So if there is still space available, I do invite you to join VixenInsider.com. Number 3 is give him space to contact you, which he probably will, while you live your happy and new life. It's more powerful, first of all, if he's the one who's reaching out, because he's doing it because of his own feelings inside compelling him to, not you making him. And number 2, it'll make it more likely that you'll get back together because he'll think it's all his idea. He'll be putting effort because of his own feelings inside, out of his own motivation to get you back. The way that a man's gonna feel, it's a predictable process, and you want him to emotionally process the breakup. He has to feel all of the following things and have that time away from you in order to feel them, because many need time to process their emotions privately when they're away from you. You have to give him space so this process happens. First, he misses you. Then he wonders if he's lost you. Then he seeks reassurance that he still has you. He'll seek reassurance only when you do not contact, because he's afraid that he's actually lost you. It begins with this feeler that he'll put out there. Is she still waiting for me? Is she still a sure thing? He'll get really concerned if you're not clearly there expressing your love, how you'll never not love him. Then I'll just retreat back. That's why it's so important to really keep the no contact going and never give him reassurance. So here's another huge piece of the reverse psychology. Most people, their tendency is to let their ex know that they're always there and reassure them. That's the opposite of what works. You're not contacting him and he starts to miss you, and next he isn't sure, have I lost her for good? He feels an overwhelming urge to find out. Then if he thinks he's lost you. He either lets you go or makes a strong push to win you back. You know this is happening if he's either indirectly or directly trying to get your attention, randomly bumps into you in person. All of that stuff is happening because he wants to get that reassurance, and you have successfully flipped the script. And if you want help flipping the script to make it go faster, if there is space available, I can give you direct help at VixenInsider.com. That's VixenInsider.com. So allow him to reach for you more. Do not interrupt his process or reach out to him. Do not give him the impression that you'll wait for him or reassure him that you're always there. Just be neutral. Wait till he contacts you. And if he doesn't, do not contact him. Move on with your life instead. It's much better to wait for him to come to you because you never know how long it takes for him to process his emotions and really get to the bottom of how he feels. He will need to feel that overwhelming urge to connect with you again to ever get you back. And if you try to force a conversation to happen, you kill all the progress that you've made. It's super important to never forget that it's a trap to reassure him that you're still there. Because if you do make this mistake, at best the results will be wishy-washy and non-committal. And worse, he'll keep trying to date other options and then know that he's had you and has you in the back of his mind and that you're always the safe option to come back to, which is not what you want. And I actually do not want this outcome for you. So if you want my direct help on how to make sure you avoid this, join VixenInsider.com if there is still space available. And if he does contact you, the way to handle the conversation is this. Know he's scanning for things to be reassured about, so do not give him any. If a relationship conversation comes up, you can say, you know, it was hard for me too, but I've accepted that I'm 100% single. And if he's being vague and mentioning the possibility of getting back together, you can say something like, if you're saying that you want to get back together, we can talk about the possibility and how that would actually work. If he says anything indicating he doesn't want a relationship, then really clearly say, if you're not sure what you want, I understand, and that's perfectly okay. But please understand that unless you want to be in a relationship with me, we should not be in contact. You're not going to convince him to come back. He will convince himself to come back because he feels an overwhelming urge. And most importantly, because he knows he'll lose you if he doesn't. This is why the reverse psychology method is so powerful. You're doing the opposite of what he expects, and then you let him convince himself that he needs you back. So space is magic. And in the meantime, you're getting better and better while he is there really needing your reassurance. And keep in mind, if he understands you've accepted the breakup and that you understand yourself to be 100% single and he's okay with losing you, that's your signal that he was never, ever going to commit the way you want it in the first place. You can move on with peace of mind that you did everything you could. It was not going to work. Again, if you want my help making sure that you're doing the right thing, that you're on the right track, you're not making some horrible mistake with getting your ex back, because honestly, in this specific situation, your instincts are most likely tricking you and misguiding you. It's a very common situation. Then I invite you to join VixenInsider.com to get direct help from me. If there is still space available, that's VixenInsider.com. And be sure to subscribe for more love advice exactly like this so you can get the exact love life you want, and comment with your thoughts on this topic, any questions you might have, and I will see you guys next time.